Recently here in Pennsylvania, our groundhog saw his shadow and said that winter will be here for 6 more weeks. A lot of people are really depressed about this, but not me, because I know the truth. Punxsutawney Phil, he doesn't control the calendar. He just controls the weather. And as the calendar marches forward, you know what's marching forward towards us? More holidays, but specifically more holidays with great holiday candy. Because holiday candy is what keeps me going through the year. Oh, Pearlmania, I thought it was your wife and child. No, never. It's been holiday candy the entire time. Every couple months, I'm thinking about, hey, I think this is it. And then somebody rolls out a very specific holiday treat, and I say, oh, is that a chocolate bunny? So that's why today, I'm gonna be ranking my top holiday candies, top to bottom, S tier to F tier. Let's do it.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania 500.
As you see here, we have our classic tier list before us. S tier, anime-based God. We have God and anime on our side. And at the bottom, we have D tier. D tier, these barely pass the coverage of being called candy. And in between is just a murderer's row of different things to rot your teeth. We're gonna start off with a holiday most people think about when they think about candy, because most people are wrong. Most people, when they think about candy, they think about Halloween. And I'm here to tell you something. Halloween, that's actually not really a great holiday candy type of holiday. Because when I'm talking about these things, I'm talking more specifically about candies that you can't find other times a year. So let's start out and talk about the candy that most of y'all think about. When you think about Halloween, you're thinking really about fun-sized candy.
This is fun.
Right? Fun-sized Milky Way, fun-sized Three Musketeers, fun-sized Kit Kats, fun-sized Smarties, Dum-Dums, all these things that you can buy year-round at any pharmacy, at any grocery store, in the candy aisle. It's just tiny little versions of them, right? Little tiny versions of them. That's why fun-size Halloween candy, C tier. Because again, this list is really about what is more specific to the holidays. So I know some of you are already thinking, well, sometimes they have special holiday candies like Reese Cups. Right? Reese Cups has a special Reese Cup that is in the shape of a pumpkin. In this case, they have ghosts. They have other ones. They have the Franken Cup. Yeah, but that's really still just a Reese Cup though, isn't it? Isn't it? Answer me! Look me in the eyes when I'm talking to you, boy! So I'm gonna put them in C tier because it's really just another mold of the same candy. So what we really think about though, when we think about a Halloween candy, maybe a late fall candy, this is gonna be a controversial pick for some of you because some of y'all don't have taste. We're talking about candy corn. Yeah, that's right, candy corn. Y'all remember candy corn? Oh, I don't like it. It tastes kind of like nothing. It tastes like wax. Well, you're wrong. It's a Halloween into Thanksgiving candy. You'll find it everywhere. It covers a lot of bases. High fructose corn syrup, some recently banned dyes. Candy corn is an enemy of RFK Jr. Therefore, candy corn is a friend of me. Candy corn is gonna go in A tier. But there's many different flavors of candy corn. Don't forget the chocolate candy corn, also known as Indian corn. It's usually put in a mix. I'm gonna put that at B tier. But next to that, we also have, don't forget these are mellow cream pumpkins, but most people think of them as the candy corn pumpkins. Very similar, but a little bit thicker. They're gross as hell. These are fucking gross. I hate these things. For everything that you feel about candy corn, that's how I feel about these candy pumpkins. They taste like just pain to me.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
Putting them in D tier. Up next, after Halloween, after Thanksgiving, which is candy corn is also considered a Thanksgiving treat, we immediately jump to Christmas. Christmas. And a lot of people think of Christmas as a candy holiday. Not me though. I don't really think of it as much because a lot of the candies that are there at Christmas, again, are just repackaged, right? Think of the Reese Cups. Oh my God, it's Christmas Reese Cups. They're just red and green foil. They just took an all-year candy and they made it red and green. Maybe they shaped it a little Santa-like. That's all they really do. But there is a few on here that are actually pretty good. Number one, classic candy canes. When you think of Christmas, you think of candy canes. When you see a candy cane outside of Christmas, you're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Candy cane. You better get back to the other side of Thanksgiving. If I see a candy cane outside of the dates between November 26th or whatever Thanksgiving is that year, if I see a candy cane after January 1st, I'm enraged. And I also assume that it is out of date and stale. So candy canes have a very specific shelf life of November to December, and if it exists from January to October, it is literal Garbage. It should be thrown in the trash. That's why candy canes are S tier. They're incredible. Think about the first time you had a candy cane, how that mint hit you different. Think about being a teenager, right? Or even a preteen, putting a candy cane in your mouth and turning it into a shiv that you could stab your friends with. You know the ones? The sharpened candy cane? Just spinning it there in your mouth. Candy canes are also decorations. You hang them on the Christmas tree. There's so many different thoughts there. But there's also a lot of different flavors now for candy canes. Candy canes went through a renaissance, I want to say in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's why I'm just going to put the rainbow candy cane here. That's going to be A tier. The rainbow candy cane is A tier. I know there's like sugar plum fairies, there's cinnamon, there's all these different ones. The rainbow ones specifically are for kids like me. I didn't like mint growing up. I like it now. Now I like mint because I started kissing one day. Once you start kissing, you need to like mint, okay? But when you're a kid, when you're a child, when you're a young lad, I don't want mint. Mint kind of burns a little bit. Mint feels weirdly and tingly. I'm not ready for those things yet. I'm looking for more of just a sweet treat. And this had the best of both worlds. You could get to play with a candy cane. You could make a shiv to stab your classmates with. And it didn't burn your mouth. But then when you get a little bit older, you go, I need to kiss a little. I'm gonna kiss underneath this mistletoe. Give me a candy cane. Up next for Christmas, we have Christmas gumdrops. That's right, everybody. Christmas gumdrops. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Mike and Ike's, all those other different types. There's gumdrops year round. We're talking about the Christmas kind, all right? Specifically, red and green. Specifically, the ones that are almost exclusively used in gingerbread houses. Once a decade, you toss one or two in these mouths and you go, oh, that's gonna cost me a filling. And by the time you finally swallow it, you're relieved. But do these have the iconic grip on Christmas? If you see a gumdrop outside, it's like, not really my thing. I'm gonna put them B tier. Christmas gumdrops are B tier. Up next, let's talk about, in general, a plethora of just Christmas hard candies. So much so that a lot of places will just sell a box and be like, here's our assortment of Christmas hard candies. I'm even tossing the ribbons in these, okay? I know some of y'all are like, oh, my grandma always had the ribbons. Yeah, old people like hard candy. I don't know why, but old people hard candies can be great at certain times of year, but with the Christmas hard candies, there's a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people about this. Think Dolly Parton's Hard Candy Christmas. It's a good song. You want to have a good cry? Put on Hard Candy Christmas by Dolly Parton. I'm serious. You should definitely do that. I'm going to put Hard Candy Christmas right here in the B tier. It's a good candy. It's not a go-to for me. If I see somebody has the hard candy, I'm like, that makes sense. Makes sense. But it's not like, the thing. You know what I mean? Up next, chocolate Santa Clauses. Now let's talk about these chocolate Santa Clauses real fast. Because some of you guys are like, oh, it's just repurposed chocolate. I thought that was going to be like, no. Chocolate Santa Clauses, we need to address chocolate Santa Clauses. Okay? It needs to be addressed because these things are a fucking crime. I want you to think of every foil-covered chocolate Santa you've ever gotten in a stocking when you're walking down the Christmas aisle and at the CVS or the Walgreens getting some of that candy. You go to a Christmas party. Nobody wants these. Chocolate Santa Clauses are always gross. Always. And they always look like poop when you unwrap them. They're awful. They never have any detail to them. They always look like shit. The foil is always difficult to remove for them. They're D tier, okay? If I had an F tier, chocolate Santas would go in F tier. A chocolate Santa. I don't like chocolate Santas. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you this. Up next, sticking with Christmas, this might be controversial for some of you guys. Yes, you can get this one year round. Their whole market is Christmas. So much so, I only receive these at Christmas. I don't buy these for myself. They always appear in my life around Christmas. I do love them. Ferrero Rochers. A candy that I called Ferrero Rochers for too long, okay? They're hazelnut. They have an amazing filling to them. They have good times. When you eat them, it feels like a gift. A Ferrero Rocher on its own feels like a gift that somebody's handed you. When you get one of these, you're like, these are something special about this. Something nice about this. So for me, I'm going to take a Ferrero Rocher and I'm going to put this in A tier. But when you get that clear box, you just want to open up. You want to get in there. Know what I'm saying? You want to get in that box. The second you get handed it, you're like, this is somebody who likes me. If somebody handed me a box of hard candies, I'd be like, do you even know me as a person? If somebody gave me a bag of gumdrops, I'd be like, what's going on here? You remember that we were doing a gift exchange right before you got here? If somebody handed me a chocolate-covered Santa Claus wrapped in foil, it's on. Fighting. We're fighting right now. You give me Ferrero Rochers? Thank you so much. I will make sure that you go to a good retirement home as you age. You give me a chocolate-covered Santa Claus, though, I'm only sending you to nursing homes that I learned about on Dateline. One of the abusive ones. They beat you and take your pills, Mom. Now, I don't want everybody to think that we're only going to be covering Christian holidays. No. I also know of some Jewish candies. Hanukkah. Let's talk about Hanukkah gelt. There's chocolate-covered coins that are used while playing dreidel. I've always felt weird about Hanukkah gelt. The chocolate's always of high quality, usually so much so it hurts my teeth. But I've always felt very weird about Hanukkah gelt because, like, what does it say about a stereotype where you're accused of contributing? What does Hanukkah gelt say about us when it comes to stereotypes for Jewish people, right? Jewish people are accused of controlling the world's bank and monetary supplies, and then they give each other bags of fake gold that they then win and lose against each other while gambling. It feels like it was created by a racist. Does that make sense? I don't know. But I'm going to go Hanukkah gelt in general. You don't really see it the rest of the year, so I'm going to put it in a B tier there. Again, they're always fine. They are annoying to get the foil off. Actually, you know what? I hate the foil on Hanukkah gelt. We're going to go C on that one. There has to be another way. And before Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman accuses me of anti-Semitism because he represents Nazareth, Israel over Nazareth, Pennsylvania, I just want to point out to him, hey, buddy, this was my grandma's, ha, ha, ha. Anyway, shield against John Fetterman. Shield. Can't criticize me now, you big f***. Cultural Judaism, the gift that keeps on giving. After we have Hanukkah and Christmas and all the other celebrations that I don't have any sort of crossroads or touchstone point with, we come all the way into the next year. New Year's doesn't have any special candy associated with it. What do they have? Grapes you eat underneath the table? Yuck. We really do jump almost all the way into the new year. All the way into February. January, we have New Year's Eve. We have Martin Luther King Day and a bunch of other like smaller holidays that like just don't have candy associated with them. It isn't until we hit Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day in particular is once candy starts showing up again at our grocery stores and at our pharmacies. And what is the number one thing you think of when you think of Valentine's Day? That's right, box of chocolates. I know what you're thinking, Perlman, again, but this is just chocolates. No. This is the heart-shaped box of chocolates. That is very specific to Valentine's Day. And this thing, depending on how it's been done and how it's presented to you, is all over the place on this scale. I want to tell you right now, if you ever give me a box of chocolates that doesn't have a key to it, that doesn't explain what each chocolate is, we are done talking as people. We've never had a friendship, clearly. Because why would you give me a box with 12 unlabeled chocolates in it that are a literal landmine? I can't pawn off any of them to my wife. She has celiac disease. I'd be worried about any of my other friends because I don't know which one of these has nuts in them. But also for myself, what if I get the weird one that has the weird cherry filling? I don't like a chocolate or a candy to gush in my mouth unless I consent to having my mouth gushed, okay? So why don't you make up your mind and make sure that when you're buying your candy and you're buying a box of a heart of chocolate to send to me, because we are close bosom buddies, you want to make sure that it has a label to it. And if it does, it's B tier. Because these chocolates can be quality all over the place. I've had boxes of chocolate where like, oh, just the one that's basically a crunch bar, that one's incredible. But by the time you get to the white chocolate, you're like, this is garbage and tastes like chalk. Speaking of chalk, more importantly, the one that a lot of y'all were thinking of what I was going to say, candy hearts. You don't see these the rest of the year. Candy hearts are specifically an American Valentine's Day tradition. And these things are basically just flavored Tums. I'm sure it might have less actual chalk in them, but I know that the flavor of these have gotten a lot better since I was a kid. In 1989, when I was first in kindergarten and they introduced these things to us, I remember thinking, wow, capitalism hates children. But over time, the flavors have gotten better. Smarties and Sweet Tarts have made their own versions. But this, when I think of Valentine's Day and a specific holiday candy, right here, S tier, right next to candy canes. Valentine's Day hearts with the little sayings on them. Be mine. Be mine? Yes, you can be mine in the S tier. Up next, I know you guys are thinking, well, I guess he's going to jump right to Easter. No, you're forgetting about St. Patrick's Day. You're forgetting about St. Patrick's Day and the St. Patrick's Day candy. That's incredible because most of you don't live in Pennsylvania. March 17th and St. Patrick's Day, it's a big date. It's a great time. And in Pennsylvania, we have a thing called Irish potatoes. That's right, Orion's Irish potatoes. It is a candy that is coconut and cream cheese rolled into little balls and then covered in cinnamon dust. It's really not that sweet. It's not like a super sweet candy. If you eat like 3 or 4 of them, you will have a tummy ache because you shouldn't eat that much pure cream cheese on its own, but If you have one or two, you're like, oh, that was nice. That was delightful. That was good. It's very much a regional thing to the area where I live, around the Philadelphia region. It isn't really spread out too much from there. This is definitely an A tier. You only really see this this is a very seasonal candy, very specifically from once Valentine's Day is over, running through St. Patrick's Day, sometimes concurrently, depending on the time of year, with Easter. You might see it around the same aisle because, Easter floats around. Because why does Easter float around? Easter floats around because of Passover. And Passover has its own candy. That's right, it does. A lot of people don't realize this. And it's one of my favorite candies because, again, it's a candy that isn't so sweet that it'll hurt your teeth or really upset your tummy. No, it is toasted coconut marshmallows. And this is the Manischewitz brand I have here in the picture. This, I want to tell you, elite. I didn't know about these until I was an adult. I was terrible when it comes to being my Jewish upbringing. I didn't have a great one. Didn't have a lot of connections there. But when it came to actually finally tasting some things like this, let me tell you, it's the marshed mallow, okay? They take that mallow and they marsh it. And then they rub coconut all over it and then they toast it lightly. It's a light toast. S tier. I see these in the store. I grab as many bags of them as I can. I hoard these things. I hoard them. Because the thing is Passover candy is so good, especially these. But then we get into my true favorite candy, my absolute greatest and most loved candy and most loved holiday candy of all time. We're going to go directly into my favorite candy from any holiday ever. This holiday, while it's not one that I follow closely religiously, it is one that I follow financially into the candy aisle when I see those pastels hit a target, when I see those bunny ears pop up, when I start to see plastic grasses and baskets start to be carried through carts throughout grocery stores. That's right, baby, we're into Easter. My favorite, the elite, the greatest holiday candies, specific, seasonal. You can only get these at certain times, and it's confusing because it's based around a moon cycle, because it's tied into Passover, and most of us don't know exactly when it's going to show up. We think of Easter as an April holiday, but often it shows up even in the middle of the March. So let's talk about some Easter candies. Number one, I want to tell you guys about Cadbury cream eggs. Now, earlier I told you one thing that I didn't like about the Valentine's Day box is you don't know when you're going to get squirted in the mouth and it's going to gush you. But with a Cadbury cream egg, you're like, I'm about to get gushed. We're about to fill my mouth with joy in a way that you got to pay for usually. And in fact, you are paying for it because it's Cadbury. It's a cream egg, baby. What is that cream made out of? I ain't telling you, but it's supposed to be yolk. It's a chocolate egg filled with just some sort of gross cream. I can't eat more than 2 of them a year, but when I have them, do I know good times around the corner. A tier. A tier. Up next is one of my other favorites, which is, again, Cadbury, mini eggs. You ever had the mini eggs? Next time you're out there, grab yourself a little bag of these mini eggs, okay? There's something about them. It's a pure little chocolate ball with a shell around it, much like an M&M. But the shell isn't shiny. It's almost like dusty to it. It has an extra little bit of grip. I actually got some right here, actually. Look at that little guy. He's perfect. It's a perfect bite. Perfect. M&M's, you're going to put 6 of them in your mouth. One of these Cadbury mini eggs, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. A tier. All day. All day. I love them. I'm still loving them. Got in my teeth there for a minute. Up next, I don't know if this one is specific to Pennsylvania. I really don't. I feel like it is because I bought them at a hardware store once, and I'd never heard about these until I married my wife. And it's Buttercrack. That's right. It's called Buttercrack. It is from Zittner's. They make these chocolate cream eggs, much like Cadbury cream eggs, but they also make these ones are coconut. So it's coconut center, dark chocolate outside, but it's literally called Buttercrack. K-R-A-K. This company's been in business since 1922, but let me tell you, I could eat a tray of these and have my tummy be so upset. That's right. I call it a tummy. When you eat too much candy, it's a tummy, okay? You drink too much beer, I have an upset stomach, right? Oh, I ate so much pasta, my stomach's upset. Oh, my bowels, Buttercrack is S tier, though. It's literally crack. They took butter and crack, and they mixed it together, okay? That's nuts. Up next, after Buttercrack, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something here, everybody. This is my absolute favorite one of my absolute favorite things all year. I love a Whopper in general, not from Burger King. No. The Whopper candy. It's a ball of malt that's been dipped in chocolate. But only during Easter, they add another layer, they add a shell, and then they call it robin's eggs. That's right, robin's eggs. Incredible. I love these. The second I see them, I buy 5-6 bags. I keep them in my house for as long as I can. Easter candy in my house, I try to keep it till about June, and then I'm sad for the rest of the year. And here's what I love about robin's eggs. Number one, it's a Whopper with a shell. You can bite it in half, put your tongue on the malt part, and it melts it away, and then you just have the chocolate, but you get that fun fizz of the malt. Also, it's a robin's egg. You know what a robin is? That's a bird, and birds are S tier. Up next. Now, I'm going to go here with a little controversy. Remember here, I talked a little bit here about the chocolate Santas in the foil and how they're garbage. And the thing is you wouldn't really know that chocolate Santas in the foil are garbage if it wasn't for probably one of the most iconic Easter candies, which is the chocolate bunny. Just the chocolate bunny on its own. Because here's the difference between the foiled Santa Claus and the Easter bunny. Most Easter bunnies, chocolate Easter bunnies, when you buy them, you get to see the chocolate. You know it's made of chocolate. The box is clear because they're like, look at this chocolate bunny. Oh my God, it's a chocolate bunny. Also, they make it very clear to you, like, this one is solid chocolate versus hollow. They'll make sure that you know because they know there's a difference in the taste and the quality. Chocolate bunnies, they're always too big. Always. And that's the fun and the joy in them. You get handed a thing that you're definitely not going to be able to finish. It's going to be a chocolate flavor that you are never going to taste in another way. They're incredible, top to bottom. I like it when they have too cartoony of a face. I like it when they try to make it too much like a regular bunny. I love everything about a chocolate bunny. Chocolate bunnies are S tier. We have one left. One very obvious addition to this list, especially when it comes to Easter. And before I show it to you, I may have missed some that maybe your family makes, or maybe that is specific to your region of San Diego. I don't know, okay? This was a list built based on me, but there's one last Easter candy that's going to go on this list. And when I hit this, if you don't stand up and applaud and write, "Sir, you are correct, your entire list is perfect," I will ban you from my YouTube page. I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. I'll call Elon and Doge, okay? We'll come after you. Editor, hit me with a drum roll. Our final Easter candy is the GOAT. The be-all, end-all of candies. That's right. I'm talking about the Peep. I'm talking about Peeps, motherfucker. Peeps are S tier. Peeps are so incredible. All forms of Peep. Whether it be the one-bite chick Peep or the two-bite bunny Peep. Oh, Pearl Mania. I eat bunny in one bite. Well, then you're eating it wrong. You bite the head, and then you eat the bunny butt. That's how it goes, okay? Peeps are the greatest candy. You can't tell me if you see a Peep, then you're like, oh, I don't like Peeps. I don't like marshmallows. Come here, you motherfucker. Come here. Peeps are incredible. What is wrong with you? I love a Peep. The only thing better than Peeps, or maybe my own kid. That's the only thing, but I don't eat children. I eat Peeps. I love Peeps. Oh, give me Peeps. You know what happened when COVID hit America? They actually had to cut back. They had to make sure that Peeps were only happening for Easter. Easter! Oh, I love a Peep! So there you have it, guys. Look at that. That's an incredible list of all of the different seasonal candies I could think of that are based around holidays. Did I miss some? Maybe. Am I wrong? Possibly. It's all based, on my own opinions. But if you like this list and you want to see more tier lists, or you have an idea for a tier list, please throw it down there in those comments, guys. Like, subscribe, all those fun things. And make sure you check out my wife and my podcast, Too Many Tabs. Too Many Tabs. Wherever your podcasts are played or watched, here directly on YouTube, on Spotify, or on any of the other platforms that are much better for our world. So with that, thank you so much. The editor's going to throw up some choices for you guys to look at for other videos, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. And remember, candy canes are for kissing.
Pearl Mania, Pearl Mania.